All right, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers here, Nick. This is a team that is coming fresh off of a big win, and I think that they have a lot of things going good for them right now. They're kind of trying to grow this team, grow the organization, and there's some stuff we want to talk about that's been addressed that we see somewhat as a positive more than it is a negative, and we'll get into that story here in just a minute. But Nick, what's more to say? This Pittsburgh Steelers franchise is so storied, has so many great teams, so many Super Bowls. There's so many players to talk about, but maybe some have gotten looked over in the annals of history, and that's why we want to ask the Steelers fans, who on this team is not in the Hall of Fame that you think should be in the Hall of Fame? So let us know in the comments below who from the Pittsburgh Steelers is not in the Hall of Fame that you think should be. But Nick, what do you have on the Steelers?
Yeah, so speaking of Hall of Fame, one of the guys who had, or at least appeared to have that kind of talent coming out of the draft and joining this Pittsburgh Steelers organization is, of course, George Pickens. Pickens out of Georgia. You know, he had all the physical tools and blew everyone away in training camp and preseason. Unfortunately, as the season's gone on, he hasn't gotten the volume of targets and receptions and yards as he probably hopes, and frankly, as the Steelers fans probably hoped as well. And against the victor, I should say, over the Atlanta Falcons, Pickens voiced his displeasure very explicitly. I'll say it like that. And then after the game, Mike Tomlin was asked about this. I think Tomlin's quote here is very telling of the kind of coach he is and the kind of player he is, and why I really like what he said here. And I'll read it to you here real quick. Talking about George Pickens, he said, quote, "I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. I want a guy that wants to be a significant part of what we do." And here's why I really like what Tomlin said, Mize, is look, when I played in college, one of the things, I was an offensive lineman, full disclosure, for a sorry team, and I wasn't very good myself. So I'm not comparing myself to George Pickens or anybody at that level. But anytime you're not involved in a game or you're not playing as well as you'd like, if I had a bad day blocking or something like that, I'd just be angry. I'd be yelling. I'd just be upset. It's just not fun. And that's just the case with any competitor, any kind of athlete at any level. Anytime you hear one of these talking heads say, well, he should be more professional. You know who's more professional? People that lose. I don't want professional losers. I want competitors. And that's what George Pickens showed me against the Atlanta Falcons. Let's be honest. A guy of his talent probably should get more targets, probably should get more chances to catch the football. Give me your thoughts on this, Miles. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Nick, I completely agree with you because I think not only has Pickens earned the right to those targets, it's much more about the fact that I personally feel, and I think a lot of Steelers fans agree, Deontay Johnson has lost the right to get a lot of those target shares. He has made some horrendous drops, bad fumbles, just bad play all over. Obviously, he's good for a couple of really nice plays every game, and I'm not going to discredit for him, but he is going through some abysmal play now, Nick. He's dropping all kinds of balls, making crucial fumbles. Deontay Johnson has lost the confidence, or in my opinion, should have lost the confidence to feed him that huge amount of targets. I think it's Pickens that should be getting more targets. Either Pickens or Freiermuth, whoever you want to give it to, but don't give it to Johnson. I don't think that's where it needs to be. And, I can understand the displeasure when Pickens sees this guy getting fed all the targets and this guy's dropping all the balls. He's making the crucial fumbles, almost losing them the game in instances. It can be very frustrating, and I could understand why Pickens is like, hey, I'm a guy, I make the catches, I'm a big play threat. I can do all the things you need me to do. Just give me the ball. And I can completely agree and understand with Tomlin. Like, listen, I think it's better that Pickens is out there and you'd rather say, hey, man, you need to calm down. Your time's going to come, rather than having to go to Pickens and saying, we need to get you hyped up. We need you to want to be out there. And I think that he's going to be a good player for them for that reason.
Oh, 100% agree. And Pickens reminds me a lot of Des Bryant coming out of Oklahoma State. And Des Bryant obviously got the reputation as being a diva or whatever, even though I personally think it was a little overblown. But one of the things with Bryant was he always wanted those touches, those 50-50 balls, those fades, those deep shots down the field because of his incredible ability to high point and catch the football. Pickens has that level of physical talent, frankly, maybe even more. And that is, I know it's easy to blame him, but that's on Matt Cannon, this offensive coaching staff. That's not on Pickett. Right. That's Matt Canada and this coaching staff calling plays for Pickens and telling Pickett, hey, listen, if it's 1-on-1, throw it up, give him a chance. That's something you work on in practice. That's something you game plan for all week. Specific plan plays and play calls on your sheet. Say, hey, this is Pickens' time. We need to feed him the ball in these situations. And I really think that's part of the frustrations, because Pickens knows he's a good player, right? He did in the preseason. He's done it at times in the regular season this year. He knows he has the ability and the talent level to be productive and make big plays. He's just not getting the opportunities. And I agree 100%. His mentality is the right one. I would want a competitor to be frustrated. I would want a competitor to get more touches. And hopefully at some point, Canada or whoever replaces him, hopefully gives him and feeds him the rock. Because here's a guy who I think if he gets more visibility and more catches, the rest of the NFL will realize how special a player he is.